Before Vladimir Putin became the leader of Russia, running the country as both president and prime minister since the year 2000.
Если вы хотите совсем уж стать исламским радикалом и готовы пойти на то, чтобы сделать себе обрезание, я порекомендую ему сделать.
Before posing for topless pictures in Siberia, flying a bird-guiding glider, and playing a ridiculous exhibition hockey match in which his team won 17-6. Before a Russian court banned this image of Putin, which had been frequently used by gay rights protesters.
The problem of sexual minorities in Russia had been deliberately exaggerated from the outside for political reasons, I believe, without any good basis.
Before he was accused of war crimes, human rights violations, and the murder of political opponents of all stripes. Before Donald Trump suffered serious heat for his alleged ties to Putin and the Russian government.
I don't know Putin. I think it would be great if we got along with Russia because we could fight ISIS together as an example, but I don't know Putin.
Do you have a relationship with Vladimir Putin, a conversational relationship?
But I do have a relationship with him.
During his rule in Russia, Putin has banned gay propaganda, backed the government of Bashar al-Assad, and invaded Georgia, Crimea, and eastern Ukraine. But he's become just as famous for his outrageous stunts and weird behavior, like stealing Robert Kraft's Super Bowl ring. For real.
He put it on and he goes, I can kill someone with this ring. He put it in his pocket and 3 KGB guys got around him and walked out.
But growing up, few could have guessed that young Vladimir would one day become the leader of Russia. His parents were average Soviet citizens with no real influence in the Communist Party, and Vlad was a troublesome student with mediocre grades and a whole bunch of behavioral problems. What's going on, guys? My name is Michael McCrudden, documenting the life and career of Vladimir Putin prior to his presidency, here for you on Before They're Famous. We've covered other world leaders on this channel like Barack Obama, Donald Trump, and Kim Jong-un. Be sure to check out those videos on other leaders, we have a playlist for them, and let me know who's next in the comments down below. Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin was born in Leningrad, now known as St. Petersburg, on October 7, 1952, to Maria Putin and Vladimir S. Putin. Growing up in the Soviet Union, he and his family lived in a communal apartment shared by 3 families, and times were tough. Vladimir was the 3rd child to his parents, but prior to his birth, both his older brothers, Victor and Albert, had passed away. Albert died in infancy, and Victor died from diphtheria during the siege of Leningrad in the Second World War. Vladimir's grandmother and his maternal uncles died in that war, and his father, serving in both the NKVD and the regular army, was severely wounded. Vladimir started school on September 1st, 1960 at school number 193. Remember, this was the Soviet Union, and according to a Russian tabloid that got access to his old report cards, well, he wasn't exactly an ideal student. Young Vlad used to pass notes and talk during class, and neglected his homework. His grades were mediocre, receiving 3 on the Soviet 5-point scale. He also had some more serious behavioral issues. His father was once called into school after Vlad got into a fistfight with an older boy. He was also written up for throwing chalkboard erasers at other kids and repeatedly fighting with his gym teacher. But somehow he still got a perfect grade in gym. Young Vladimir was a promising athlete showing a particular interest in martial arts like Sambo and Judo. He was also obsessed with German and would covertly study the language during other classes. Putin attended St. Petersburg High School 281 before moving on to study law at St. Petersburg State University, and while there he joined the Communist Party and remained a member until 1991. After 5 years of university, Vladimir graduated in 1975 and began working for the KGB. And according to Putin himself, he used to butt heads with more serious spies. During one of his first briefings, a veteran agent explained their mission, and Putin informed him that the plan was illegal.
С удивлением и говорит, как же, у нас есть вот такая-то инструкция, и называет номер инструкции, как БССР. Я говорю, ну если она есть, то ее надо отменить, потому что она незаконна. Она противоречит вот такому-то закону, такому-то конституции противоречит.
Putin worked in the city of Leningrad for the next 10 years, and one of his first jobs was to monitor foreigners in the city. During this time, a young lady by the name of Ludmila, she managed to catch his watchful eye. The two were married in 1983, and together they had 2 daughters. Maria was born in 1985, and Yekaterina, she was born in 1986. The couple stayed together for 2 decades, but Putin would announce that the marriage was over on June 6, 2013.
Совершенно в связи действительно с тем, что мы практически не видимся. Владимир Владимирович полностью погружен в работу, дети наши выросли, они живут каждой своей жизнью.
И мы всегда с Людмилой останемся очень близкими людьми.
Just prior to the birth of his first daughter, the Putins moved to Dresden, East Germany, where Putin had been reassigned to do counterintelligence work. He was apparently monitoring the loyalty of Soviet diplomats, all while he was undercover as a translator. But this work would soon come to an end when Ronald Reagan's advice began to be followed, just 2 years after his most famous speech.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
After the collapse of the Berlin Wall, Putin returned to St. Petersburg, where he worked at St. Petersburg University, recruiting students to join the KGB. At the same time, he began working his first political job, advising the mayor of St. Petersburg on international affairs. Then in 1991, a coup against Mikhail Gorbachev was underway, and Putin sided with the reformers and resigned from the KGB. When the dust settled, Boris Yeltsin became the first president of a new Russia, and Gorbachev, he was gone for good.
Good evening. The red flag came down over the Kremlin tonight as President Gorbachev resigned and brought to an end 7 decades of communist rule in the Soviet Union.
Putin's resignation from the KGB put him on the right side of history. He quickly rose up the ranks in St. Petersburg municipal government before moving to Moscow in 1996. In 1997, he became the deputy chief of Yeltsin's presidential staff. Growing close with Yeltsin, Putin continued to receive promotions throughout the 90s, eventually becoming the director of the Federal Security Service, which was the new intelligence agency set up to replace the KGB. The next year, President Yeltsin appointed him to be one of 3 first deputy prime ministers and later acting prime minister. Just months later, Boris Yeltsin unexpectedly resigned from the presidency, making Putin acting president of the Russian Federation.
Сегодня, в последний день уходящего века, я ухожу в отставку.
Presidential elections were held on March 26, 2000. As Yeltsin's chosen successor, Putin succeeded in winning over popular support, winning 53% of the vote. Although technically holding the office of Prime Minister from 2008 to 2012, he has largely held control over Russia since the turn of the millennia. In fact, every year between 2013 and 2016, Forbes magazine ranked Putin as the most powerful person in the world. I mean, the guy even has his own pop song. As for the rest of the story, well, you pretty much know it. Or we'll do it in an after they're famous, because this is before they're famous. My name is Mike McCred, thanks for checking out this video. 2 more videos down below, be sure to check those out. Hit subscribe, see you guys in another video. Boom! When the dust settled, Boris Yeltsin became the first president of a new Russia, and Gorbachev, he was gone for good. Is that the guy with the shit on his head?
Yeah.
Now we had time to go take care of what was going on up there, right? That was like a state of its own. That won't make the cut.